It's all wrinkly, shirt's all wrinkly. What are you gonna do? I was asked by Teresa, I'm having my morning rock star before I head into the office. I was asked by Teresa basically what would happen if Methy Mouse followed through with his threat to sue me and a bunch of other YouTubers or people on YouTube for defamation. I want to just start this off with just relax. He's not going to, and if he does, he's going to lose horribly. He's not. He's not a bright boy. The first thing that's going to have to be figured out is what state law he's suing under. So, without knowing if he's going to try to sue under whatever state he's in, under their defamation laws, or if he's going to try to sue under California defamation laws, it depends on where he's suing, or how he's suing, or even if he's suing in federal court, it depends on where the court determines that the proper underlying laws. So typically it's where the action happens. Like if you are a resident of Oregon and I'm a resident of Arizona and we're both driving in California and we get in an accident and then we go home and then I want to sue you, am I going to sue you under Arizona's laws? Am I going to sue you under Oregon's laws? Or am I going to sue you under California's laws? And it would probably be California's laws in that example. But the internet's a weird thing, so I don't know. I'd have to actually do some research to see what state defamation laws would apply. So, like, theoretically, if he sues, because he was filling out a federal complaint form, if I remember correctly. I didn't really take too much time to look at it because it doesn't matter. But if he sued in a federal court, jurisdiction would have to be proven and venue would have to be proven, and I have a feeling he'd end up having to come to California to sue me anyway. I really do. And he'd probably have to go to your state to sue you. So, there you go. That's problem number one. Problem number two is defense is always the truth. And by defense always being the truth, Methy being mad that he's called a child rapist is just going to be tough luck for him because he's a convicted child rapist. He raped someone between 13 and 16 years of age. I think she was 16, but it doesn't matter. He was arrested for it. He was convicted for it. There is no way around it. He is a child rapist. I have a screenshot of the Illinois child, or the Illinois sex predator readout for him. I use that as a thumbnail. I just obscured his name and date of birth. Not that I had to, but because I'm a nice guy. And I don't like strikes on my channel because YouTube can be somewhat cumbersome. So then you'd have to prove actual damages, unless it's defamation per se. So, like the meth, let's assume that he didn't have a conviction for being a child rapist. Let's just assume that, arguendo. If you call someone a child rapist and they're not a child rapist, that would probably, depending on the state law, be defamation per se, meaning that they don't have to prove actual damages. They could go straight onto punitive damages. actual damages are hard to prove because he'd have to show like he lost a job over it, or it negatively affected his chances of getting a job, or he lost subscribers or advertising revenue over it. Something. You'd have to actually prove to the court that he lost money on the deal, that it had an impact. And being unemployed and living in a van down by the river with a bunch of cats, or a trailer, or whatever the hell he lives in, good luck on proving actual damages. And then once he gets past actual damages, then he'd have to prove, or then he could go for any punitive damages, like you're a bad person because you said it kind of damages. Pain and suffering, I think, would be included in the punitive damages. Again, a lot of that would depend on state law, so, you know, kind of up in the air. And then most states like California and Florida, I know, have anti-slap statutes, and participating in a public forum talking about things that are relevant to that forum, like, for example, a YouTube creator who is relatively well known in this little arena. And I never made a video. I don't know if anybody else. I never made a video just to call him a child molester. I was actually responding to points that he was addressing to me. So I got anti-slap for days on that, and he wouldn't win anyway. So it's a huge issue for him. So I wouldn't worry about it, Teresa. It's not a big deal. You're not gonna, even if he does sue you, you have a very good lawyer. Your lawyer will get rid of that case pronto, and probably for a very low amount of money, because I don't think it would make it very far past a slap statute. I don't think it would make it past the slap statute. So you'd have to pay for your lawyer to write up one motion and an affidavit and file it, and that's about it. As far as witnesses, Michelle pointed out that I don't accept eyewitness testimony, even if she said she saw it, and I wouldn't believe it. Well, sort of yes and no. If you said I saw a man carrying a knife, I would believe you, because it doesn't take anything special. You know, you saw a man carrying a knife. Got it. I believe that. I saw a man stab another man. I would believe that. There's no reason for me not to believe it. I saw a man commit second degree battery. Well, then now you're making an illegal conclusion, and I cease to believe it. It is no longer evidence for me. There are a lot of things out there. So these videos, here's my best argument for it. We see a lot of videos where people say, you know, tyrant alert, look at this tyrant. He did, for no reason, he did this. Oh my God, it's obvious that this guy did nothing wrong. And then I look at it, I'm like, well, actually, you know, there's a very good argument that, like the 3%er video. In that video, I explained very clearly that there is a very strong case to be made that he was actually trespassing. There was a posted sign. That's constructive notice, most likely, depending on state law, or it'd be city law because it's an ordinance, whatever. And he was also told, you know, don't go back there, it's restricted. So you have two things going against you, and there's no, the sign should have stopped him before he got back there. So the sign should have, I mean, it's not like they have to be like, well, you have to leave now. Now we've trespassed you. No, he was trespassed before he went in there because there's constructive. Anyway, my point is that non-experts saw it and said it's obvious. And they will tell you what they saw. They saw a man whose rights was being violated. There are eyewitnesses to it. And that is not evidence that they saw what they think they saw. If they said, I saw him walk past the sign, I would say, I believe you. If they said, I I watched him and it didn't look like he saw the sign. I never saw his eyes go to it. I never saw him pay any attention to it. I never saw him look like he was reading it. I would believe you. If you said, I saw him commit criminal trespass, then I would say, well, I actually have to look at the evidence. Your eyewitness testimony isn't compelling for me because you may not understand the statute. You may not understand exactly what you saw. Like, there's the guy in South Carolina. He's filming outside the, let's see what time it is real quick. All right, we got time. He was filming outside of the post office. He was on the sidewalk. Terribly misinformed gentleman. He was citing the DHS memo and things like that. And he thinks, whatever. Anyway, so the cops say you were in the street, we're detaining you for being in the street. Now, an eyewitness who said, I didn't see him in the street, I would believe you. An eyewitness who said, I saw him in the street, I would also believe them. I have no reason not to. An eyewitness who said, I saw him violating the statute, I would say, well, did you? He ended up getting arrested for trespass. He had been trespassed from that property and he returned. Now, you're going to say he didn't go on the property, therefore he didn't commit trespass. I'm going to say I didn't know what he's trespassed from. He might have been trespassed. The terms of the trespass might have kept him from within like 50 feet of the place or something similar. I don't know. And you don't know. But a lot of people jump to the conclusion that he was unlawfully arrested for trespass. And until I see the terms of his trespass, I don't know. That sidewalk he was on could have been part of a private street that, was only for post office business or something. I don't know. I have a feeling, my gut instinct is that he will not be convicted of that criminal trespass. Because I didn't see him go on their property. And I would suspect that he wasn't trespassed from like 50 yards from their property, but this is me guessing, and it's not something I witnessed. I don't know, and you don't either. And that's why you hire a lawyer to represent you, because we are better at seeing past your little areas of passion than you are. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.